Hello and welcome to the Slapshot Syndicate podcast. Be sure to subscribe for more content, and whilst you're at it, go and follow our social media pages. They're on screen now. Now, on to the episode. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Slapshot Syndicate, episode 43 this week. Unfortunately, it's just me and Alex in the studio today because Aaron can't make it, but we're going to go into all things Seahawks, the results around the league, our normal run through. So first and foremost, good weekend.
Was a good weekend to be a Seahawks fan, wasn't it, mate? Plenty of teams as well, actually. I think we'll share that sentiment.
Yeah, definitely. Right across the league, there was a fair few teams with a few 4-point weekends as well.
Yeah.
Some big results, and some changing about in the standings as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
it's always good, isn't it? We always say it every weekend, but it's that changing up and people take each other's place is always nice to see. And there was even some 3-point weekends and stuff like that in there. So yeah, can't wait to get into it this weekend. It's going to be good, isn't it?
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we've solidified the final four of the cup as well.
Yeah. So
this
we'll get into that, can't we?
So yeah, plenty of good stuff upcoming. Definitely. Stay tuned. We'll move into Seahawks Reacts. Okay, welcome back to Seahawks Reacts. First and foremost, so we had the Saturday game against Basingstoke Bison away. Unfortunately, I wasn't around to watch this, but I know you definitely watched it, and I think Aaron watched a little bit of it. So I've been feeding back some of the information, and obviously from looking online and seeing how it went. A very happy Seahawks fan.
Oh, absolutely. And first and foremost, I think we owe the Seahawks a little bit of an apology here, because last week I predicted every single one of us back to Basingstoke, didn't we?
Yeah.
And there was obviously good reason for that, wasn't there? Basingstoke's form this season at home has been really good.
Yeah.
But Seahawks just came, and there was typical Seahawks. You never know what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, maybe before this week you didn't know what you was going to get, but I think after this weekend they have really solidified, what they're about and what we're going to look like going forward, and this was a great start to that. Going and beating the Basingstoke Bison 5-1 at their barn, which again has been a really tough place to go.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit unheard of, really, isn't it, going into Basingstoke at the moment and taking points. Obviously, we was on the back of a pretty rough weekend last weekend where we only had the one game and got the loss. So to come into this weekend and start off with such an emphatic win for us is really big. Can't help but notice, there's the same old people racking up on the score sheet. Like Emil Svek, Bobby Chamberlain, Johnny Corneal, all involved in quite a fair few of the goals. But want to give a big shout out to Owen Brutton as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
He managed to get his goal, and I know he's had some. A few of the lads have had a bit of good news this weekend, obviously being called up to the GB squad under 20s. So shout out to you lads that have been called up. I think it's Brutton,
Noah and Josh.
Yeah. So that's massive. It's been a shame really for Owen Brutton, because we feel like he's been such a solid player for a while, but this season just hasn't really had a lot of ice time. I think whilst we've been trying to find a bit of form and stuff, he's not really had the opportunity to be on the ice much. So for him to come on and get a goal is a big one. Like, obviously we haven't seen the likes of Alex Kent that much, and
I think with Brooks as well, because we haven't had that depth in the last couple of seasons. We've relied on him a lot, and obviously there's just been good competition in the team. I don't necessarily think it's Brooks per se. It might just be other players taking their opportunities, but Brooks just took a massive opportunity this weekend and he's played really well. Nice to see him back on the third line as well, where he played a lot of hockey last year. I thought, he was really good on the night. I think that sort of goes into nicely about the start of the game, really. I think one of the first things I noticed was his line, who was, I want to say, Brooks, maybe Ethan Hare and Jamie Chilcott as the third line, which obviously Jamie Chilcott on third line was a bit like, let's see, but they went straight on, which was great, and I noticed Brooks were bouncing off people and, showing the signs of the old Owen Brutton that we all used to love and know, and obviously not that we don't now, but I think, like you say, he's had a bit of a slow start to the season. I'm sure he'll agree to that as well. But yeah, really, really solid. I thought all three of the lines played really solid last night, and you mentioned about Svek and Chamberlain and Corneal, and Matty had mixed the lines up again with Sobchak going down to the second line.
Yeah.
And wow, that first line was unbelievable.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the lands that was playing do look a little bit different there. But I just wanted to talk about that one Emil Svek goal that we've seen a clip of, and just the way Bobby had like, chipped it through almost, and he had like absolutely no angle, and somehow managed to rattle it off Max Rice. Head or something
like that. Yeah. Unbelievable that to beat a netty of that calibre as well is ridiculous. And I think last week, Matty touched, didn't he, on the Bristol game, where if a team's played the game before you, they're almost like 2 steps ahead.
Yeah.
And let's not forget they played on the Friday night as well, so they could have come at it really, all guns blazing. But yeah, that goal set us up really nicely, didn't it? And a lovely little assist by Chamber, but. Yeah, he had no right to score that, but I think that just sort of touches on a player that's full of confidence at the minute, doesn't it?
Yeah. So just talk to us about like, the night itself. Did you feel like it was the fact that Basingstoke weren't playing very well, or it was us just playing, very well?
I wouldn't say that Basingstoke played terrible. They definitely came at us. They tried like keeping us in the game, and it was 3-1 until the last period, about the last 10 minutes, I'd say. So they did try and make it uncomfortable to us. I could see why they've got results at their barn, by trying to press us down, but. Like I say, that first line was unbelievable, and even the second line with Sobbs, Huey and Bones, I really liked the chemistry that they had.
Yeah.
The defence was solid. I felt really bad for Jordan McLaughlin on our goal, because it was just sort of like a missed clearance. Like Noah had it in our back left-hand side of the pad in our defensive zone. He's tried to clear it. It's just squiffed off the back of his stick, and it just fell right to there. I think George Norcliffe won it, and he shot it from point blank, and from that sort of range, Geordie didn't even have time to react. But I felt really bad for Geordie, because he had another solid night, and a night I think that he will have really wanted because of last weekend. I think both netties will be like that. So I wouldn't say that it was Bison typically playing bad. I think we just went at them, which is something that a lot of Seahawks fans have called for.
Yeah,
we've touched on the pod in previous weeks and things like that, saying
starting early.
We want to start early. We want to go at them, and the Seahawks did really well. Let's not say that. Well, they didn't go out and bang 8 past them.
Yeah.
But there was really solid all the way through, and it never looked like there was massive phases of us being wobbly and panicking and stuff. It seemed like a very controlled performance, and I think the Basingstoke fans would agree with that.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a really positive performance.
Good. It's like as I said in the past, like you've got to be able to, take teams like this to the sword really, and if you get a lead, you can't let them off. You can't let them off the hook at all. You've got to just keep going. But looking at some of the stats, there was Basingstoke had 27 shots on goal and Hull Seahawks had 29 shots on goal. So, in that sense, it's not really a reflection, is it, the scoreline? I mean, both teams have had good.
Basingstoke have gone at us, definitely. I think we was maybe just a bit more crucial with
clinical.
With our shots. But I, not to be disrespectful to the Bison, but I was a little bit surprised at the stats there. To say that they had 27 shots, I wouldn't have predicted that.
Yeah.
I thought our defence was really solid. So unless that counts for shots that have maybe deflected off and stuff like that, but I don't know. But
yeah, and just 7 power plays.
Yeah, and again, like me remembering the game, I didn't really think like we was in the box a lot. I remember one in particular where we had it and then they sort of ran away with the puck. They split off us, and Svek had to sort of like bust a gut, and he just like threw his stick in front of the lad and tripped him. But if he hadn't, he'd have been bounding on goal. So it was kind of one of those where you're like, I get it. I wouldn't say that there was like silly penalties, and I think they got a few as well. But looking at it now, it says only 2. But it was definitely a tough game for us physically, and obviously in terms of their defence, because let's not beat around the bush. Their defence is really good. One to touch on as well. A big loss for them partway through was Max Wright. A weird one as well. I spoke to you about this, didn't I? And I don't know whether that might affect him for the next couple of games. Hopefully Max comes back, and obviously from us we all hope that you make a speedy recovery, Max. But I think when Max Wright came off, he had a collision with Sobs, which I was really, because they was both down on the ground and no players was straight onto Sobs for like crashing into him or anything like that. They could see it was a coming together.
Yeah.
Sobs was on the ground as well, and I was thinking, oh no, we really would need Sobchak going injured. But then it was Max Wright who got like peeled off, and it was like, but with all this padding and stuff like that, you think, what's he done? You know, but so Max came off, and Oscar Minton, if I got that name wrong, I apologise. But I think it was Oscar Minton, 16, 17-year-old lad, came on for the Bison, and he did all right, to be fair to him, but. Yeah, it's I
mean, there's some big shoes to fill there in Max Wright anyway. So I think anyone who was gonna come into the net after that would had a job on their hands. Yeah, but I mean that sort of concludes the Saturday fixture, which is a massive result for us. And there's no power play goals. Everything was in regulation, which is a bit mad to see considering the amount of power plays there was there. But we'll move into the Sunday, which wasn't as much of an easy game for us. So we had the Peterborough Phantoms at home, and we was there for this one, and it was a bit of an odd game, wasn't it? But it was
really odd.
It was a good one. Don't get me wrong, but it was very tense. It was sort of like end to end. Although for the majority of it, it felt like we was controlling it. It was just Peterborough was like
it was
very sort of locked down defensively at times where we couldn't seem, and Hayden Levine was having a great goal. It just wouldn't seem to go for us for ages. I mean, on the stats we outshot them by 8 goals. 8 shots. And it did sort of feel that way. I felt like we was
I think the first goal was a prime example of that. We really went at Peterborough and looked really good. Hayden Levine made a couple of good shots, and then they scored. And there was someone near us in our block that was like, I can't remember what they said. Here we go, and stuff like that. And I thought, well, they might have scored it. What was it, 4:35 for 4 minutes 30? We played really well, and it was just one of those goals that went in, and it was like,
no one panicked.
No one panicked. I think the Seahawks could all see that they was like playing really well, and they didn't look like they'd the bed kind of thing. It was just sort of like, we'll get back at it. But it's mad to say that they never led in the game, isn't it? Because again, we was really at them, and it was like Peterborough got a goal, and then we'd equalise straight away. And it was like we're at them, and then Peterborough had scored. It was like, what have we got to do here?
I was gonna say that is what it felt like. It was just banging on the door every time, but it wasn't happening for us. And then obviously all of a sudden it did, but it was I just wanted to obviously note Levine in goal for Peterborough, because I think he can be a solid keeper, absolutely solid, and he was for them last night. I genuinely think without him in the net playing as well as he was, we could have taken this game probably 8-2 or
yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. And they don't go on to get that third and fourth goal if they're in someone behind and making those saves and keeping them in the game, which gives you that extra push where you're like, come on, we can do it. But you are right, and Hayden was one of those netminders. He was one of the first import netminders we got into the league, and everyone was like, import netminder, we don't like import netminders, get them away. But look how many people have followed suit now, and he absolutely proves his worth in gold, and his weight in gold. Because he's so important for them week in, week out, and Sunday was another prime example of that.
Yeah. So on the score sheet for Hull Seahawks, 2 defensemen.
Yeah.
3 goals between 2 defensemen.
Yeah.
Which is, so Josh Hodgkinson with the first, Brock Bartholomew with the second. So it's nice to see Brock coming into a bit of form now, but hopefully he's shaking off that rust, and he's getting back to match fitness, and points are going to start coming for him. Although that's not really what you have a D-man for. But when you can do both,
it's an added bonus.
When you can do both, fantastic. So 3 points for him on the night on Sunday. Emil Svek again on the score sheet. I mean, he's having a blinder at the minute, I think. Which again, great to see, because we talked about Emmy quite a lot, and he sort of struggles with himself when he's not playing well, and I think he can
his eyes.
Visually, I think he can beat himself up quite a lot about it. But when he's playing well, he's sort of unstoppable.
Yeah. And to say that he's got the amount of points that he has, like he's leading the way by a bit of a stretch at the minute.
Yeah.
And there was almost like when I don't know if it was a stroke of genius or not, Matty getting Brock back in, because it almost sort of set a little fire under all the imports backside, saying, you are replaceable. And Emmy's obviously thought, and there was a lot of people, weren't they, that was like, oh, I think it'll be Emmy or blah blah to go, and I couldn't hear I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Considering this guy's got nearly 400 points in like 250, 300 games for the Seahawks, he's like, I saw somebody earlier call him a franchise player, and you know what I thought, is that a bit far? But then in my head I thought, well, no, because he really is one of our, if you look at our club as a history, like the Seahawks, Hull Seahawks, he's got to be up there, hasn't he? And I think that Matty getting Bart in almost maybe set somebody in Fick's head to be like, no, you know what, I'm going to prove my worth, and you know what, fair play, Matty Davis, because look at what we've got now.
Yeah, well, obviously Stally's injured a bit at the moment, and Johnny Stallard, and obviously I think that gives the imports who are fit to play now an opportunity. Because whilst he's on the sidelines, they need to be able to prove a point, and I think Emmy's done that, to be honest with you. So
100%.
Great to see. It was night and day for some of the Seahawks performances this season, and I think going into a game like this that was tight, going into a shootout overall is good for us, because it gives us that that sort of experience again, to take it into deep waters, and overtime was nervy. It's good for players to be able to come out on the other side of that and
get
the win.
And do it. Yeah, definitely. What did you think of Peterborough from Levine outwards, and the defence and the forwards? So, I mean, we can't not give them some credit, because they've put 4 past us, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. But it's your same people. Luke Ferrara, Cam Huff, Yanni Lackinen.
It was really impressive in pairs, like seeing them in person, weren't they?
Yeah, no, they are very good. They're very good. Obviously, there is someone that didn't like being in the penalty box.
Momentarily he really liked being in the penalty box, didn't he? But then it went right back around to bite him in the arse.
Shall we get into that a little bit later?
We'll get back into that a little bit later.
But yeah, that was funny. I don't think there was many Seahawks fans appreciating him at that end of the game. But no, we'd love to see it. Yeah. It's all in good jest. So, but look, Ferrara, we know what we're getting with him, because he's been a solid performer since he's been with Peterborough. I remember seeing him sort of a couple of years ago in Coventry. Yeah. And he was
so impressive.
It was great. Between him and Nath Salem at that point, they stood out, I think, from the rest. So you do know what you're going to get with him. Cam Huff, again, another player where he can put goals past, and you can almost bank on him scoring every single night. And an assist machine in Yanni Lacken, and that line they've got is very dangerous.
It is, and they proved, haven't they, all night there? Like their 4 goals have just been through Ferrara, Huff, and Lacken. And I think there's 1 assist on there for Robson and 1 assist for Bowering. Every other assist, goal, second assist has come through those 3. So if you're going to beat Peterborough, it seems at the moment you've got to
score.
You've got to have Levine on an off night, or you've got to shut that line down. Otherwise, you're having a torrid night, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're an absolute credit to Peterborough, to be honest. But yeah, I'm glad we managed to sort of muzzle them a little bit for this game.
In a sense.
The interviews afterwards, Huey and Bobby had talked about it briefly, and I thought their takes on the game was really interesting. It was almost like, yeah, we're happy, but let's not pretend that there isn't still work to do.
I agree,
I think that was testament, I think, to what they're trying to do now. Hugh was talking about we've got to start closing the gap now to them top teams, to be able to be in with a shot. So it's almost like, we're happy, but we're not there yet. Not there yet, but we will get there. So it was good to see them too. Obviously, Huey being the assistant coach, who's got a wealth of experience. Yeah. Hearing from him from time to time is good. I think
nice, I agree.
Quite refreshing, because he does have that experience, and he backs Matty, and it's good to know
that's such a solid team.
Yeah. After obviously some of the comments and that from people over the last week or so. It's good to know like they've still bought in. Yeah, everyone's still bought in. They know what they want and they're still fighting for positions.
Because there's still people, weren't they, on the forum or whatever, saying like, "Oh, this isn't. How can this happen?" And X, Y, and Z, and it's just like it's.
Fairness, you, and as all sports swings, I was like, I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it was just a 1-game weekend.
I can understand.
Was on the wrong side of.
I can understand why Matty was frustrated last week, and he was mentioned about conceding 8 at home and things like that. Like, get it. It wasn't a great night, and everyone said that. But everyone, like, not everybody, but you see a couple of people like properly like losing their mind over it.
It was a bit like,
and it was a bit excessive, wasn't it? And like I say, we came on last Wednesday night, and just said, didn't we? Like, we don't think it's like action stations, things up in the air, and you know, the boys have come out looking blue after.
We said this weekend would be the test for us to see where we was at, and we've come out with 4 points.
Looking rosy.
A convincing one against Basingstoke and a bit of a gritty one against Peterborough. So certainly happy. 2
very different challenges this weekend, and they've come out looking really well. So you can't be more pleased than that, can you? I don't know what more you could ask for, really.
Yeah.
Especially on your birthday on Sunday as well. Yeah. Good old shootout for you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for first shootout of the season, I think for us at home, innit?
From what I can remember.
Yeah. It's, buzzing.
Pretty nice.
Cool. Well, that rounds up Seahawks Reacts, and we're going to move on to the results and the rest of the fixtures around the league. Okay, so welcome back. We're going to go into the fixtures for the weekend just gone and look at what the current standings are in the league and the cup. So first and foremost, we had a Friday night game on the 5th of December. That was Basingstoke Bison at home to Telford Tigers.
Yeah, and another interesting one. So Bison, this is the first of 3 games this weekend, 2 home games. So I think they'll have been rubbing their hands with this one, weren't they? But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. A 2-1 loss on a shootout.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to determine whether this was like a really good game to watch or if it was then a bit of a banana skin one. Obviously, such a low scoring game and it going into a shootout, you'd like to assume it was just both teams defensively locked down and not giving an inch. But yeah, Telford coming away with the win in the shootout, which is big for them.
I was going to say
because they've needed a bit of a bounce back, haven't they? And I'm sure they won't be massively pleased with their performance because they'd have wanted to take this one in regulation, maybe get a few more goals on the sheet and stuff. But a win's a win at the end of the day, and they took away points. So Basingstoke, again, to their credit, they've got a point from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're Telford, I think this is a momentum builder.
I agree. I think Basingstoke will have been looking at this one and fancying it, weren't they? In comparison to what they had ahead. But, and that's purely based on Telford's form. But a massive win for them, I think. I definitely agree there. And, as much as you say, they'll have wanted to win in regulation, a shootout win is 2 points in it. And, big props to their netty at the moment, Ben Norton, who's doing really, really good stuff. Obviously, to only concede 1 in... the full game. He didn't even, I don't think he even conceded a penalty shot either. So fair play to him, and he's wrapped him up 2 points there, hasn't he? A massive 2 points, a well needed 2 points.
Yeah. So the next was Saturday the 6th of December, where we had the sort of first of the weekend's fixtures. Swindon Wildcats against the Solway Sharks, and this is sort of painful to say, but Swindon taking this one 10-1. So they've taken them to the sword. I can't remember if we had trouble predicting this last week, but 10-1 is a bit gutting, in it if you're Solway, because that's not like we're just not getting into the game or the flow of things. That's a team's just come walked all over you a little bit there.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah. It's not a nice one to see, that, is it? For Solway fans, for Swindon fans, I bet there was plenty of beverages flying around after that game. At the Link, I bet that was a really good night, and you've got to give massive credit to Swindon because we've challenged. They probably I know some of them watch it, but not all of them will watch it, and they probably didn't take on the fact that we said, their challenge from us now, like they care about our challenges or whatever, but is to go and score more goals. And 10 10 goals is I don't think we've not seen. Have we seen a double figure result this season so far? We saw one in pre-season, MK Romford, didn't we? But I don't know whether they might be the first team that scored double figures this season.
Yeah.
So yeah, a massive prop to Swindon on that one. I know Logan van der Baraka got a hat-trick on the night, and our mate Ryan Wells got 5 points on the night, 2+3, which is a joke for a defenseman.
See that's mad. He's some player though.
He's ridiculous, isn't he?
Yeah. We've asked a few people, haven't we? Like, don't know if you could take one defenseman in your team, or would you take it? And everyone
says Ryan Wells, don't they? So. Yeah, it's crazy, but. On the flip side as well, our mate Bolts and Stewie and a couple of we like the Solway lads, don't we? And bit of a rough one for them. You got to sympathise for them and sympathise for the fans that went down to the rink from Dumfries all the way down to Swindon as well.
I know. But I mean, I don't know if you know if they're still struggling with numbers, and I
think they did go. They went down with 5 defensemen, which is better than a couple of weeks ago, and they have had a few back. So I don't want to say there was on bare bones. There might have been. I don't know 1,000%, but I just think it must have just been a really bad night at the office, if I'm being honest, which is a massive shame. And I wouldn't have liked to have been in that locker room after the match, would you?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But we'll move on to the next game. Was Basingstoke Bison against the Hull Seahawks. We won't go into that too much because we've covered it in Seahawks Reacts, but Hull Seahawks taking that one 5-1.
Oh, the lads.
Bristol Pitbulls had the Milton Keynes Lightning and at home, and this was an overtime win, 5-4 for Bristol, which I think me and Aaron went for Bristol in this.
Yeah, it's not to reveal too much, but you boys, I think you both knew that you went for Bristol in this one.
Yes. Yeah.
So when I saw this result, I was like, come on, but a massive result for Bristol again, really big result that. I think this might have been the one where Cal McGill scored the overtime winner as well.
Oh, wow.
Ex-Seahawks, so fair play to him, but he seems to be having a real good time at the moment, and Bricknell with a couple goals or assists, and just the usual suspects, but I think that's if they're going to take MK at any point, it's probably now or on that Saturday.
Yeah.
Because, the lack of numbers. I think they was running 4 defensemen, which is a really difficult thing to do, isn't it? And, it's props to them.
Milton Keynes, it's sort of like being hit whilst they're down in it at the moment, but, you still got to set the points from them. The players that they've got, there's still some quality in there, so that's not to take away from what Bristol have done there. And Bristol seem to be this team that just don't give up.
Yeah.
Which I quite like, to be honest. I like a bit of grit.
I don't want to. It's not this in like a gag or anything, but they're like they are like dogs, aren't they? Where they just dog it out and just don't give up. So fair play to them. And but I mean, a point for the Lightning is that, I know, are people overlooking that, considering how they are, or is it, is this a game that they should have won, really, because it's Bristol? What do you think in that terms?
I think current form, a point to point.
Yeah.
You need it, and obviously, we'll come into this in the standings. Like, they're still not doing too bad when you're looking across.
No, it's stupid, isn't it?
Across it, so I think there's just more attention drawn to it at the minute than.
Because of last season and stuff like that,
But
I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing for them, because it shows that there's a lot of eyes on them. The expectation is still high for them. So fair enough. I'm sure there'll be a couple of teams further up that are loving the current form of MK, but we'll move into Sunday and stuff like that and see how they perform then.
Yeah, so our next game on the Saturday was Peterborough Phantoms against the Sheffield Steel Dogs. Sheffield taking that in overtime as well, 3-2. So some very, very close games this weekend. But Sheffield, they're a solid team, aren't they? I mean, we talked about Peterborough being a really difficult place to go to, but Sheffield at the minute just feel like they're a little bit unstoppable at times. I think when they're good, they're going to beat anybody, any team in this league. But it's just them sort of minor blips they've had where people have managed to get points from them. But credit to them, Peterborough not an easy place to go, and to get the overtime win in there is big. Peterborough again point, so they'll be happy with that.
Another road win as well.
To come away with a few losses this weekend, but still pick up points.
Yeah, it's not too bad, is it?
Fair enough. It keeps them in the run, and it keeps them moving up.
Two losses and 2 points.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad, is it?
Exactly. So, The last game on the Saturday then was Telford Tigers against Romford Raiders, and Telford taking this 4-3 in regulation.
Tying up a 4-point weekend for the Tigers.
Yeah.
One that is pretty rare actually at the moment, and it was considering the start of the season where they was racking up points for fun. Yeah. Big weekend that, and we've actually had some insight this weekend about this game. A very rough one this. Lots of fists flying, lots of roughing. I've seen one video of Eric Henderson, and somebody jumps on him, I think it's Cooper, and he's like, they're grabbing each other. Oh, Henderson's got his gloves down here anyway, does not take his gloves off at all, and Cooper's just laying into him, leather. Henderson goes down, and Henderson got 5 minutes fighting.
Oh my God.
And you know, if you're a Telford fan, you're thinking, what is going on here? It's mental, but yeah, I think this was a real like smash and grab game. I think there was a few little cheeky ones on the Telford netty as well. It was just a bit of a nasty game. So fair play for the Tigers, because they've absolutely sunk the teeth into the Raiders, haven't they? And 4-point weekend. That's pretty big for them, isn't it?
Yeah. We've talked about it. Obviously both games being quite narrow, but points.
Absolutely.
And yeah, they've needed it. They've needed it massively. In recent weeks, they've sort of dropped off down and they've gone from being near the top of the table to somewhere like in the middle towards the bottom. So yeah, if it was going to come, this was the weekend for it to come.
Yeah, I've got a question for you for Telford then. What for you, if you was a Telford fan, what would your expectations be for the next couple of weeks? Would you want? I mean, you can't start demanding 4-point weekends every weekend, but is it just starting to find like some solid form where you're consistently churning out points?
Yeah, I think that they've already been there. They've already shown like the quality, and I think it's just a case of maybe getting back into training and doing the fundamentals right again, and just getting back to it, getting back to basics.
I think they also had a skate with the players after this one, and Caleb McPhee was back on the ice. Don't know the ins and outs about his injury, but that's a real positive one to see him back on the ice, because he was massive for them earlier in the season. So hopefully, touch wood for them, he'll be back soon and churning out some points.
Okay, so we'll move on then into Sunday the 7th of December. First game was Sheffield Steel Dogs against the Basingstoke Bison. Sheffield taking this one 7-1.
Pretty rough. I think the wheels have fallen off the Bison a little bit, haven't they?
Maybe just this weekend. I mean, we'll see what.
Oh yeah, sorry, no, that's not me saying in general. I just mean the fact that they had 3 games in 3 days. It's a pretty rough do, isn't it?
Yeah, and just as an observation, scored 3 goals across the 3 games. Rough. It's a tough one, isn't it? But Sheffield Steel Dogs, they've got some firepower and at home as well.
No shame.
No, there's no shame. There's no shame.
Churning 7 at home's pretty good. And again, Sheffield wrapping up a 4-point weekend themselves and qualifying for the cup as well.
Yeah.
That's we'll obviously get into that a little bit later on with the cup standings, but big for them in their rebuild season, or the season where they wanted to take that next step.
Yeah, I think every team's out for silverware, but Sheffield, they can definitely do it, and I think they set out to do this from the start.
The cup would be a good start.
It'd be a great start for them. It'd be a great start. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying watching Sheffield. They seem to, the Sheffield of last season to the Sheffield of this season is night and day, and I think maybe some people had probably slept on them a little bit during pre-season. They've just come out and shown that they're not here to just sort of take part. So it's going to be a real interesting run towards the back end of the season. Even the next couple of weeks up to Christmas and into January, I think we're going to see quite a lot of movement. So okay, Leeds Knights had the Solway Sharks, and they beat Solway 5-1, and I know there was a bit of fisticuffs in this as well, weren't they? A bit of scallywagging, So I think Cam Hamill, he had a go. Carter had a go. Every time. It's not personal.
Carter and Dunny won it.
Carter,
So one of the imports mixing it up, and you know what? Fair play to Carter Hamill, because he was going for it, wasn't he? Dunny's a bit bigger than him, but don't back down, does he?
No, and I'm also sort of enjoying the fact that imports are getting a little bit more involved.
I agree.
Because you didn't really see it, did you, much a couple of seasons ago? But obviously with them being so valuable, you needed them on the ice. You don't need them sat in the penalty box. But I'm here for it, to be honest. Getting a little bit involved in the game. There must be times where they get that frustrated and they think, I'm not allowed to do anything, but it's part of it, isn't it? It's part of the game, so let them
off the leash every so often in a while. I'm sure Yansis as well, you know, the Solway newbie. Yeah. I'm sure he had a fight, but he got something stupid in the game, like a 2+10 or something. So God knows what he's done in that. I wish I did know more about it.
Yeah.
I've not seen many videos about it. I don't know whether he might have had a little tear up with. I don't know who it is. I'm not going to say who because I don't know. I know Pacozzi had a little bit of a tear up. I don't know. I don't think that was with Yansis. So it's been going on all the way through the game on it. And
it'd
been a good one to watch.
At the end, I don't know if you watched his interview.
I missed it.
He was saying it wasn't great to see. You know, that sort of.
Oh really?
Yeah. Shithousery, pardon my French, really, but. Yeah, probably on both sides. You know, we know Leeds can give as good as they get, and I think Solway they had a game plan, and part of that game plan would have been to go and drag them down.
I agree. So, and it's a different way to go about it, and to have a bit of nastiness about it. And probably in that Swindon game, they probably didn't have enough nastiness about them. So there's been a challenge thrown out there to the rest of them to go out and actually do that. But Leeds will quite happily play hockey around you. And score, won't they? But they also can stick up for themselves.
Yeah, they
you
can.
know, it's very, very rare that someone absolutely goes and belts a Leeds next player up.
Yeah.
So fair play to the Leeds because they will stick up for themselves, which is pretty decent to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then they'll go score far past you as well.
Yeah. Just make sure they get the result, won't they, as well?
Solway, we're obviously fans of Solway, aren't we?
Yeah.
What do they have to do after this weekend, brothers?
It's a tough one because I feel like Solway have shown really good signs.
Yeah.
But again, they've been struggling, haven't they, with numbers, and I don't think we're seeing the real Solway Sharks.
True reflection.
Yeah, I don't think we're seeing a true reflection, and I think that's just circumstantial for them at the end of the day. I think the group of players they've got are really good. You know, we've seen them.
A good core.
We've seen it firsthand, and they do have that capability. I think just circumstantial.
Yeah. So in that situation then, when you are players down and stuff, what's your aim? What do you go out and do? Is it, you know, do a bison and sort of sit behind the puck and try and defend yourself?
I think defensively Solway can be really good.
Yeah.
They can be really good. I think they just need to start off save their energy as much as possible by not pumping up and down the ice and just countering.
Bearing himself Paul said it the other week, didn't he? He said they're a real good 40-minute team at the minute, but it's just that other 20 minutes is just a killer, and you've got to feel for them. So I think it would be nice to see Solway pick up some points this week, especially after shipping 15 in 2 games. It's a bit rough, that, isn't it?
Okay, so Romford Raiders had the Swindon Wildcats, and Swindon took this 4-1. So I think we would have probably said. Would have expected that as well. So Swindon are just quality at the moment, and obviously it was at Romford's barn, so
they usually score a few at their barn, don't they? So that's another testament to sort of Swindon there, really, I'd say. Yeah,
I think they've just got it locked down at the minute.
The decoys are ridiculous.
They're running a massive high, so there's no shame.
You know what? It's bad about Swindon because each week we just sort of go, there's the class.
Swindon's
let's carry on.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the Swindon people, fans, that are thinking, well, speak about them more, but. What else can you say? They're defensively so solid. The netminder's ridiculous, and they're now scoring goals for fun. Which, if you're first in the league and you're banging 14 goals in 2 games, that's exactly what your fans want to see.
They're currently the epitome of where everybody wants to be. With that sort of league standing and cup standing, it just comes with natural credit, really. So it is what it is for them. I mean. They're doing the business, so you can only sit and watch and appreciate. Hull Seahawks had Peterborough Phantoms, which we've talked about. Seahawks taking that in the shootout, and that was 5-4. So the final game was the reverse fixture of the Milton Keynes Lightning and Bristol Pitbulls.
Yeah.
Very different result.
Very different result. Not one that was expected as well. I don't think a lot of MK fans would have expected this either.
No, but MK at home can be a very, very good team. For those of you who don't know, Milton Keynes Lightning took this 8-3. So very, very different fixture to the Saturday night. But they needed a massive reaction, and they needed to do it at home. I think that was very important as well 100%. Because I'm sure some of their fans have
losing patience.
Yeah, starting to lose their patience, and Tim Wallace is a solid coach. He knows what he expects. The players know what he expects. It's just them not being able to deliver it at the moment for multiple reasons, not just on the ice. The stuff where they've had to call people in to fill numbers and stuff, and that's never a good thing for a coach or a team when you're trying to build a foundation. And
there's a lot of people in the league that don't want to see MK do well. Just because of how good their off-ice stuff is, and they've got a lot of fans and people.
You go to Coventry and it's just
full of MK.
Yeah, sea of
and
MK.
I think a lot of people look at Tim Wallace as a bit of a hard ass. Like if my players don't win, then I'm on them.
Yeah.
But what I've liked about Tim in the last couple of weeks is he's sort of recognised the state of his current squad.
Yeah.
And they'll have really been working towards this. And Bristol, a double header against Bristol can be a really big banana skin, can't it? So I think this one will have felt extra sweet, won't it? That big win. And I think this will be the benchmark for them to sort of move on to bigger and better things, really. And I think they'll be really, really pleased with that, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
And again, we're Seahawks fans, and they beat us in the Cup the other year, so we've still got that bitterness towards them and things like that. But I do kind of like it for them that they've managed to do that 3-point weekend this weekend.
Yeah.
Especially with the current state of the squad.
And like I say, we'll go into the fixtures now, but I think people have thought it's sort of panic stations for MK, and I don't think the league really reflects that. So, well, that said, we'll go into the current standings. In the league, we've got Swindon Wildcats in first. They've played 23 and are on 38 points. Sheffield Steel Dogs in second, 25 played, 36 points. Leeds Knights in third, 23 played, 35 points. Peterborough Phantoms in fourth, 24 played, 27 points. Milton Keynes Lightning in fifth, 24 played, 26 points. Hull Seahawks in sixth, 23 played, 25 points. Telford Tigers in seventh, 24 played, 25 points. Romford Raiders are in eighth, 24 played, 22 points. Bristol Pitbulls in 9th, 24 played, 20 points. Basingstoke Bison in 10th, 19 played, 17 points. And Solway Sharks in 11th, 23 played, 14 points. Observations are interesting. Seeing Sheffield go up to second place is pretty nice for them. Yeah.
They have played a couple more games than Swindon and Leeds though, so I don't think Leeds will be overly cautious about that one. If they did catch up with the games in hand though, Swindon's still 3 points ahead of Leeds.
Yes.
Which is a pretty nice. And again, I don't think they'll be too worried about Sheffield's being 2 points behind them, considering Sheffield have 2 more games. But I think that initial top 3 there's a bit of a gap forming there now, isn't there?
Yeah.
So it seems like there's a little bit of an early free horse race. Would you say?
Obviously it's a long season,
course,
so we talk about the 3 points between potential 3 points between Leeds and Swindon as well. It's gonna be difficult in Swindon's current form to try and pick them points away from them, because it means Leeds have to go and win everything. So if I'm Swindon, I'm just probably overly cautious about the fact that you can't let it slip. Yeah. Because the Leeds will come back at you.
I think adding those players like Ben O'Connor and stuff like that this season, with that been there, done it experience is massive for them. I don't think they necessarily had as much of that last season, which showed in playoffs a little bit, didn't it? I think obviously it's a one and you're done sort of system in it, but there was big expectations on them last year, and they'll really want to right a wrong, and so far they're looking pretty sweet, aren't they? Like what the last 3 games, 5 games including overtime, in 23 games, like they're looking really, really solid, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at the minute, I think it's a case of certainly from 4th to 7th, where there's 2 points in it, is someone trying to solidify themselves as the 4th horse.
Yeah.
Because we look across that, we've got a game to make up now, and we're in 6th on 25 points, so we could be sort of tied for 4th position with Peterborough, who are sat there at the moment, which I hope we do. But also, like, it's sort of a nice group because I feel like Romford Raiders are on 22 points. You could easily sort of sleep on them and then have a couple of good results, and all of a sudden they're back into it.
A 4-point weekend changes things, doesn't it? But interesting to see Telford back up, sort of trying to make the way back into the mid-pack as well.
Yeah.
After a little bit of a fall from grace, let's be fair. Have they got the potential to, sort of climb back up the ladder? Would you say?
Yeah, I think it'd be silly to say that they haven't because we've seen it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think they just need to get back to the basics of what it is they was doing before that was working and try and go from there. So it wouldn't surprise me if they go on a run and somehow solidify themselves as the fourth horse because they can. But from a Seahawks perspective, I just hope it's us. I think out of those teams there between Peterborough, MK, Hull and Telford who are sort of all in the running at the minute for that, I fancy us more.
Yeah, I think we obviously we see them week in, week out, don't we? But I think as a whole package right now, if now's the time to sort of go and build some form, then I would back us too. Just based on the fact that we don't have many injuries, touch wood, our decor's really solid, both the netties are firing. Our line, our first, second, third line are churning out points.
Now,
I'm just massively fingers crossed that we can start doing that.
Yeah.
Because obviously MK have their injury problems. Peterborough seem to be relying quite heavily on that first line.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to the other lines, obviously. And Telford obviously showing that sort of wavy form, haven't they? So I agree with that. I definitely agree. And what about the lower end of the pack?
The lower end, obviously Basingstoke jumps out. They've only played 19 games, so they've still got a few games to make up, and they're not at the bottom, so they could be easily somewhere in the running for it. This weekend certainly hasn't helped them. But yeah, it's tight everywhere. It's tight everywhere, to be honest with you. I just can't help but see, Solway sat at the bottom and think of their circumstances.
It's not a nice looking, is it? It's not a nice looking. Yeah, the table doesn't tell that story of the struggles that they've sort of had this season, but 14 points from 23 games won't have been the expectation that they'll have had at the start of this season, unfortunately for them. So, again, hopefully they can start churning out a few points at home, making the Shark Tank a bit of a difficult place to go.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll go into the cup standings, and I'm going to go from the bottom upwards now, so we can sort of a process of elimination.
Yeah, I like that.
So in 11th place, Basingstoke Bison. They've played 8 and they're on 2 points. Solway Sharks in 10th, 9 played 8 points. Romford Raiders in 9th, 9 played 8 points. Bristol Pitbulls in 8th, 10 played 9 points. Telford Tigers in 7th, 10 played 11 points. Hull Seahawks in 6th, 10 played 11 points. Milton Keynes Lightning in 5th, 10 played 13 points. And then Peterborough Phantoms in 4th, 10 played 14 points. Swindon Wildcats in 3rd, 10 played 14 points. Leeds Knights in 2nd, 10 played 14 points, which leaves Sheffield Steel Dogs at the top with 10 played and 16 points.
Interesting. I can't remember how this works. I don't know whether it's first versus fourth and second versus third, or it's a bit of a mixed one. But if that was the case, Leeds versus Swindon in the semi-finals would be a beauty of a head-to-head, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting but all of these teams, like you'd say Sheffield when they're on it, they could easily take this.
They beat Peterborough this weekend, didn't they?
Swindon, as long as they don't have a slip up, you'd fancy. Leeds Knights are notorious for just playing this sort of hockey, and Peterborough Phantoms
don't pull results from anyone.
If you're going to back an underdog, you'd back Peterborough. So
1,000%.
It's going to be a real interesting cup run. Obviously, it's a shame, Seahawks fan missing out on the cups, rubbish.
Yeah.
But I'm sure all of the other teams feel the same who have missed out, so not going to dwell on that too much.
MK missing out by 1 point with their injury problems is a sucker punch, isn't it?
It is.
They could have tied that up a little bit, but right, now that we've sort of seen the Final Four, I can ask this question. And again, I will apologise to Peterborough because the other week we did this prediction and I didn't even put Peterborough in the top 4, which was silly of me. So again, I do apologise to all you Peterborough fans. Sheffield, Leeds, Swindon, Peterborough, Brad, one team. Who are you backing to go all the way? Think about it. Don't just jump on the first one either.
I'm gonna go for Leeds.
Oh yeah.
I am. Yeah. I think they can get through these games. Obviously, cup games are different.
Yeah, they are.
Very different. You know, it's who wants it more on the night, and I just think Leeds have the ability to just take it to teams, and they're maybe gonna have like undersold themselves in some of the league fixtures, but they'll come into this and they'll know not sitting pretty in the league standings, so let's go and take the cup, and they'll use it as a momentum builder.
The only team as well to go to the link and win this season.
Yeah, and obviously Aldi is not going to let him get away with this one, so
definitely not.
It's going to be interesting. What about you?
You know what? For an outsider one, I'd like to sort of see Sheffield do it. No, I wouldn't like to see them do it.
I know what you mean.
But you know, for that next step in the plan. But I can't go away from Swindon just based on current form. I know that Leeds went there, and it'd be daft to bet against Leeds. If you was betting money on it, you probably wouldn't bet against Leeds. But I'd probably go for Swindon. I think Swindon on the flip side will really want to right that wrong. You know, that Leeds went and beat them at home, and I don't think that'll have sat well with them. And look what happened last year with Leeds when they won the cup, and then that was a right fire up the backsides to go and do the league as well. So I can imagine that going the same way for Swindon, really.
Yeah, well, it's going to make for some interesting watching, so we can but see.
Absolutely.
Cool, so that wraps up the results of the weekend and the current standings. Let's move on to this week's Team of the Week. Okay, so now we're going to go into this week's Team of the Week. Some big results, some big performances from some players. Quite a difficult one to choose from.
Yeah.
But we'll get straight into it. And the netminder in this week's Team of the Week is Brady Parker. So Brady Parker has a big performance this weekend for Steel Dogs, and a massive 4-point weekend for them. He played the game where they got the overtime, winning Peterborough on Saturday, and he had a save percentage of 91.3%. Played 51 minutes against against Bison on the Sunday, conceded 1 goal and put up a 95% save percentage again. So 93.15 overall, and obviously Sheffield have gone up to second place now, so he's had a big performance for the Canadian / American.
He's like a dual nut. There was a lot of eyebrows raised, wasn't there? Especially with how Aldo was playing and stuff like that. But Brady's come in and he's been a real big presence for them. There's no wonder, obviously, they've had a really good couple of weeks because he's been pulling off worldies, hasn't he? So absolutely fair play to Brady. The next player in our Team of the Week this week, by no surprise, is going to be Ryan Wells of the Swindon Wildcats. Brian produced absolute magic on Saturday night. We touched on it earlier. 2 goals and 3 assists in a 10-1 victory against Solway. And then continued his form onto Sunday with another goal and another assist against 4-1 away from home to Romford. Obviously going away from the attacking part of it, they only conceded 2 goals all weekend. Another 4-point weekend and 2 points to clear. Well, they're now 2 points clear with 2 games in hand on Sheffield. So, it's really difficult to add to that, isn't it? Like, a defenseman who can get you, how many points is that? Sorry, is it 7-8 points over a weekend? Come on, man. Like, anyone snapping off there, Ryan Wells' hand next season out there to try and get his signature. But I can't imagine there'll be a lot of choice for Ryan if he's going to be going anywhere. I'm sure he'll be at the Cats, don't you? Yeah,
definitely. He's some performer, and we mention him week in, week out, so for well deserving. So our next defenceman in this week's Team of the Week is one of our own, and it is no other than Brock Bartholomew. So we've talked about Brock being maybe a little bit rusty to start with, and has had to shake a little bit of rust off, and he seems to be doing that now, and is coming up clutch. So he had an assist against a very defensively strong Seahawks team on Saturday against Basingstoke, which again is proving a very tough rink to go and take points from. So that's a big result. And he got 2 goals on Sunday in a 5-4 overtime win. He also got an assist as well, I think. He was the man of the match for the Seahawks on Sunday, and he was just being influential all weekend. He's been a massively strong addition to Seahawks. We all knew what he was capable of having had him previously, so to see him getting back to that is big for us as a club, but also him. He's going to feel a little bit of pressure on his shoulders to come in and perform at that level, and he's taking it and running with it. So well played, Brock.
Yeah, fair play, mate. Well done. The next one, we're going to move into our forwards, and we're going to go to the Lightning this week. And there's a big toss-up between 2 players, but we've gone for Ilya Korenchuk. Ilya has joined the Phantoms, joined the Lightning this year, similar to Dom Gabai, who also needs a massive shout-out. But we feel that Ilya really took that next step this weekend, didn't we? He got 2 goals and an assist in an overtime loss versus Bristol on Saturday night, and then a hat-trick and 2 assists in a huge return win. At the Thunderdome, as they like to call it. 3-point weekend for MK, who struggled a lot, and then obviously Ilya was really, really influential, helping MK back up to 5th in the table, and he also got man of the match on Sunday. So, a really, really positive one. Again, we do want to give a massive shout out to Dom Gabai. He had a 6-point night on Sunday, and it felt almost rotten to not have him in the team, but there was just so many 4-point weekends this weekend, and spreading it all out was ridiculous. But Dom, if you're watching this, a massive, massive credit to you, mate. It was really, really tough to not put you in the team this week.
Yeah. So, next forward is another Hull Seahawk.
Biased.
That bias, yeah. No, we've talked about him briefly in Seahawks Reaction, and when we've gone over the league as well, but it is now over than Emil Svek. Emil's... there he is. No, he's a massive, massive performer. He's great for the league. He's great for the Seahawks. He's been so influential in this team, and certainly this weekend for us. He's come in like really solid and sort of taken the weight on his shoulders and gone and delivered. He's got 2 goals and got an assist in the 5-1 thrashing to Basingstoke Bison at their place as well, and then scored another goal and another assist to Seahawks into overtime before scoring the only goal in the shootout as well to wrap up that 4-point weekend.
Cold as ice.
Ice cold.
Ice cold, mate.
Ice cold. No.
Ice cold.
If you needed any player to sort of come in clutch for you in a shootout, it's Emil Svek, isn't it?
You know what? It is as well. We were saying beforehand, like, would you go for Fest? Would you go for Johnny? Would you go this, that, the other? And 5-6 shots on the night, and the player that comes up trumps is the big dog.
Really good to see him get his rewards in that game. He'd have been a shout for man of the match for me as well.
Yeah, it was.
So,
I agree.
Yeah, fair play.
Well done, Emmy. So the last player on our team of the week this week, and again we've had plenty of people who are going to put on in there, Brad. Yeah. But we have gone back to Swindon this week just purely because of the amount of goals we've dished out. And that is Logan van den Irakke. Logan scored a hat-trick and provided another assist in that 10-1 win on Saturday, and then was voted man of the match, rightfully so, even though Wellesley got 5 points. But Logan's had an absolute blinder there. He also scored another goal on Sunday to help Swindon secure qualification for the semi-finals and wrap up a 4-point weekend. Logan has been very, very, very unlucky this season to not already be in our team of the week. He's a hell of a player, and I think the Swindon fans will be really, really happy with Logan. Is it too early to say almost a Bricknell replacement?
No, I don't think it is.
He's putting up those points. He's really solid. And to be fair, is it a Bricknell replacement, or is that a disrespect to him? Like, you don't want to compare what you had. You want to focus on the now, and that team there, they've got goals left, right, and centre now, obviously, and it's really good to see. So Logan, fair play to you, mate, and I'm sure the Cats will be really happy with that.
Yeah, a few honourable mentions to make. Obviously, you mentioned Dom. So I'm not going to mention him again because that means he probably should have been in Team of the Week.
Yeah.
But David Thompson, he's scored an hat-trick to help Telford across the weekend in a well-needed 4-point weekend for them. Got Malik Martelli, who got 4 assists on Sunday versus Bristol, and another Seahawk in Johnny Corneal.
Cheers to that.
Who's got another 5 points. So he's had a mega weekend, and just one of them things. Unlucky to not be in, but congratulations to all those that have been in this week's Team of the Week.
Yeah, and just before we move on from Team of the Week, we have got a little segment that Azza started last weekend, and don't think that we forgot about it, everybody, because let's just stick with where we was just there, and Johnny, and more in particular in Hull, because we witnessed somebody who was a contender for the naughty list in person this weekend, didn't we?
Yes, we did. He was funny, to be honest. it was quite funny.
It was brilliant. That's what it was.
So this particular person had been put in the penalty box, and we sit just behind the penalty box. So naturally, in A block, there seems to be a little bit of chirping going on to the players who are in there, all in good jest. But he clearly heard what was being said and what was going on, and Peterborough scored whilst he was in the box.
Didn't they?
I think we had a player in the box as well at the same time, so it wasn't short-handed or anything.
No.
But they scored, and he stood up, and he was giving all of
impression.
The fans.
Come on, show him what there was.
He was giving it all this.
All this.
He
busted this out as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
All to all the fans.
Yeah.
Oh, horrible. Yeah. And
fair to say, Aaron was not impressed.
was not impressed. He was screaming.
Yeah.
Why is he on the naughty list, Brad?
He's on the naughty list because he peaked so early. So
yeah, literally.
We put him on the naughty list because, luckily for us, Seahawks took the win. So at the end of the game, there was a bit of back and forth.
It was great
with him, and it was great to have. But you can't come to the Hull gaff and get away with anything like that. So we had to take it to you. And
the icing on the cake as well was this player took the last penalty shot for Peterborough, didn't he? And he missed, and the crowd erupted. So for that reason, Brad Bowering, you are on the naughty list this week. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. No one else to put on the naughty list this week, so quite an easy one.
I think there was a couple where Azza mentioned a few, but we'll maybe save that for next week when he's rightfully back in his seat.
We could not let that go because he'd have been very disappointed that we didn't mention it. So.
Absolutely. So yeah. You're going to have a bit of a time trying to redeem yourself. And as I said last week, you can get yourself off the naughty list to the Romford player. But Bowering's got a bit of digging to do for that bad boy.
Okay, so that wraps up this week's Team of the Week. Let's move on to the upcoming fixtures and the standing out predictions. Okay, welcome back. So this is the part of the podcast where we're going to go into our predictions for the upcoming weekend. But before we do that, we need to review the last week's fixtures and where that leaves in the current standings. So over to you.
Yeah, over to me. Over to me. Well, story of last week. We are going to get into it. So let's just get straight into it. So last week, bottom of the league was Brad with 71 points. Azza was in second with 78, and Rossy was in the lead with 80. So there was a couple of fixtures this week where you guys went against me, if you remember rightly, and there was one in particular which was really grinded my gears this week because you predicted that the Sheffield Steel Dogs would beat Peterborough 3-2. And as luck had it, Sheffield beat Peterborough 3-2. What really, really grinded my was that Azza also went, I'm gonna go with you on that one. would it be funny if next week, what was it? Would it be funny if next week we both got that right and he didn't? Because I didn't back them 3-2.
Oh.
And just as you know it, you both got the correct score, didn't you?
Oh.
But we'll get into the actual results. So, one of us scored 10 this week. One of us scored 7 this week. And one of us scored 9.
Ooh, all very respectable scores.
Very respectable scores. Very respectable scores. As you'll probably imagine, I was the one who got 7 this week. So, that puts me... Oh, well, actually, we won't go into that just quite yet. So, yeah, I got 7. I don't know how, but in a week of 11 fixtures, I guessed 7 of them right, and I still come last. Like, that's ridiculous,
crazy,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Azza was the one who scored 9, meaning Brad was the winner this week with 10.
Get it.
Azza predicted 6 other scores right, and then of course got that 3-pointer. You only guessed 3 games wrong this weekend out of 11. So absolutely kudos to you, mate. Fair play. Yes, cup winner this week. I'm disappointed, I'm not going to lie.
Mate, I've needed it. I've absolutely needed this.
So of course, we'll go score on the doors then.
Yeah.
So the current scores on the doors, my book's actually falling to pieces, the amount of points that we've got in here. You've closed the gap, relatively anyway. So you was 9 points behind last week.
Yeah.
So you are still in last place. You've got 81 points.
Yeah.
But now, in joint first is me and Azza on 87. So you're now 6 points behind us rather than 9 last week, which is 2 correct scores in a weekend. If you get those 2 correct scores, and me and Azza don't, mate, could be a nice early Christmas present for you. So, with that being said, let's get into it. And interestingly, Azza's not here this week, and we would never obviously wish Azza not to be here, and obviously it will be back next week. He'll be joining us this weekend for the Seahawks, obviously. It'll be interesting to see how our results go when there isn't 3 of us, because I think sometimes we like to play our results against each other a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Azza is going to be doing his predictions, so as we predict, you're going to do yours, I'm going to do mine, and then the graphic will come up, and Azza's score will be on there. So we're actually blind to what Azza's predicted, which is a little bit even more interesting.
We're not going to let him see this because he won't.
This is like
we're not always
total
he hasn't
blind this
submitted
week.
it yet. So it will be interesting.
It will be interesting. So I'll obviously let you lead the way. I pass back over to you.
Yep. So we've just got Saturday and Sunday games this weekend. The first game on Saturday is the Hull Seahawks against the Romford Raiders, and obviously this is at home. So I'll take this one first if you like.
Absolutely, mate.
I'm going for Hull Seahawks.
Yep.
And I think it'll be a 4-1 victory.
Okay. I had a similar thought to yourself. I had an immediate score that came into my head. I'm going to go 5-2 to Hull Seahawks.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good weekend for us. Obviously, it's Saturday fixture as well at home. Normally we're a Sunday fixture at home, so obviously nice.
Might see a few more heads in the arena as well, it being a Saturday night.
Yeah, so I think it can go either way, can't it, really? But definitely, it'd be nice to see. So. Okay, so Basingstoke Bison against the Sheffield Steel Dogs.
Now, was last week just a temporary blip, or is it going to be different? I'm going to jump in here, based on the fact that I think Max Wright might not be back. And I'm going to go similar to this week with us, and I'm going to back Sheffield to win 5-2.
Yeah, I'm backing Sheffield as well. Even if Basingstoke were firing on all cylinders, if Sheffield are, I still think they would take it. So I'm going to go Sheffield Steel Dogs. I'm going to go 6-3.
Nice. Okay. Nice goal fest in Basingstoke.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So then we've got Bristol Pitbulls against Telford Tigers. This is going to be a difficult one, I think, to predict, because Bristol at home can play very well, and Telford they've had a 4-point weekend, but they have been off it a little bit in recent weeks, so it's up for grabs, I think, for our team.
Yeah.
I'll go first. I'm gonna go for Telford Tigers. 3-2.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna flip it then. Why not?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Bristol, based off last weekend and what they did with MK. I thought that was a really admirable performance by them, and they've obviously put a few past us. A few might be a bit of a understatement. Like the other weekend, I'm going to back Bristol, and I'm going to back them to win 5-3.
Oh, interesting. Do you think it'll be a bit of an empty netter situation?
Maybe. I don't know with Bristol if they've got an empty netter in them, to be honest. In the sense of what I mean is, I feel like if they're gonna lose by 1 goal. I don't think it's like, I don't know. Yeah, and I've just guessed 5-3, so what I've just said makes no sense. But no, I don't know. I think they might just pull away from a little bit. But it remains to be seen, doesn't it?
Yeah. So then we've got Milton Keynes Lightning against Leeds Knights in MK.
This is going to be interesting. If the MK have a few more players back, this is more difficult than you think.
Yeah. What are you saying then?
I'm going to say Leeds. I'm going to go for Leeds, and I'm going to go for a 4-2 win to Leeds.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go Leeds as well. I think there's a real need to win for Leeds now. Now that they're sort of knocking on the door.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Leeds for a 4-2. What did you go for?
4-2.
Did you?
I'll
go with it.
4-2.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll stick with it. Stick with 4-2 Leeds. So then Solway Sharks have got Swindon Wildcats in Solway. So a bit of travel there involved. I'm gonna go Swindon because I think that's fairly obvious in their current form and Solway's current form. I'm going to go Swindon to win this 7-2.
7-2, really?
Yeah,
wow.
I think it's going to be quite a high
that's
scoring
a bit
game.
That's a bit of a big one, that. I also am going to back Swindon. Sorry, Solway fans and Solway players. I know that they did it the other weekend and got a 3-point weekend from them. I don't think it'll be as big as that. You may be right, but I'm going to go for a 4-2 win to Swindon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know Solway did lock it down at the gap, but all that sticks for me is the 40-minute mark. Got 2 periods in them, and with a firepower of Swindon.
Swindon have 4 very solid lines. Their fourth line as good as any other team's third line in most nights, isn't it?
Yeah, defensively against Swindon, it could turn into a 30-minute game for Solway, so that's my rationale. But we'll move on then into Sunday the 14th of December. The first game is Sheffield Steel Dogs against Milton Keynes Lightning at Sheffield. I'll kick us off. I'm going to go Sheffield on this one, and I think it will be 5-3. 5-3 I'm going to go for you.
See, we're predicting that MK are going to lose to Leeds. Now, what happens when MK lose at home? They go back and they either come out fighting or they bounce back, don't they? So I think it's a really hard one, this. I don't think it's as easy as just overlooking them. But how can you not back Sheffield in their current form? For a point, I know that Azza's gonna back Sheffield here.
Yeah.
So for a point, I'm gonna try and drag a point out here, and I'm gonna go for MK. Yeah. I can't see him getting a 0-point weekend, but they've got Leeds and Sheffield, so it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna back them to win 4-3. MK 4-3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you thought that one was hard to predict, look at this next game. We've got Leeds Knights against Swindon Wildcats in Leeds at the Castle.
Game of the weekend. Game of a couple of weekends. Gotta be on it.
Now this is a toughie. This is a real tough one because the Castle's going to be absolutely bouncing.
Yeah.
And I think Leeds have got it in them. I think Leeds have got it in them to go and beat them. But I'm gonna back Swindon.
Alright, okay.
I'm gonna back Swindon. I'm gonna do something like a 4-3.
Oh, mate.
4-3 Swindon.
You know what I'm gonna do with that, yeah? I'm gonna go for Leeds. Just because they're at the Castle. I could totally see Swindon getting a win here. But Leeds are the only team this season to go to the Link and beat them. Is that a coincidence?
I know.
I don't know.
Some points up for grabs here.
There is some points. And if Gozzy has a night, is there a better netminder in the league?
I know. I don't know what Azza will do here, as well, because I think there's a little bit of him that would say Leeds.
I agree. So, I'm gonna go for Leeds. I'm gonna do the same as you. I'm gonna go 4-3, but to Leeds. Flip it, yeah.
Okay, so then we've got Romford Raiders against the Hull Seahawks, but this is in Romford. Ooh. So travel down to London for us on the Sunday, which is a bit out of the ordinary. I'll let you kick us off on this one.
If I remember rightly, we had a pretty successful night last time we went down to Romford.
Yeah.
So I'm going to back Hull for another 4-point weekend, touch wood. And I'm going to back us to win 5-2. 5-2. I think that's maybe what I guessed as the home fixture.
Yeah. Well, I'm also going to back Hull. I think we're going to be a difficult team to beat now. If we carry on with building a little bit of momentum and something starts clicking and we can get the away form sort of ironed out, I think we're going to be really tough to beat for any team. So I'm going to back us. I'm going to go for a 4-1.
Nice. Okay.
4-1. Yeah. So then we've got Peterborough Phantoms against the Solway Sharks in Peterborough.
Peterborough's only game of the weekend. I'll kick us off and I'm going to back Peterborough to win this. I'll go for a 5-2. 5-2. Okay. I'm going to also back Peterborough. I want to back Solway because I want to see him get some points this weekend. But I don't know whether this is the one that they'll get one from. And it sounds silly, but I feel like they might be able to pull a point off Swindon this week. Even if they lose, like overtime or something. Yeah. I'm going to back Peterborough. And I'm going to back them to win 5-3. 5-3.
Yeah, that's relatively respectable. I just can't help but think about their top line in Cam Hoflacken and Ferrara. They've got points in them every game, so that'll be a good one to watch. Final fixture then to predict on the Sunday is Telford Tigers against Basingstoke Bison in Telford.
Interesting.
So that's going to be an interesting game. I believe it's your turn to kick us off.
I will kick us off, and I'm quite confident with this one. Not as confident as I have been last couple of weekends in this team, but I'm going to back Telford for another 4-point weekend.
Wow,
yeah. I'm going to back them to win, and I'm going to back them to win my classic. I think I've said it about 9 times during this. 5-3. 5-3 Telford.
Cool. I'm also backing Telford. I'm notorious for backing them at home. I think they when they play well at home, they make it real difficult for certain teams. So I don't think it's going to be as emphatically as what you said there. I think it'll be quite low scoring.
Yeah.
So I'll go for a 3-1 Telford.
Okay.
I mean, there's some very interesting fixtures there. It's going to be interesting. I've got some points to make up on you and Azza. You two are tight at the top. So hopefully I can pluck a few points away from you both this upcoming weekend, but we shall see.
2 perfect scores and you're back in the race, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back at top of the tree. It'd be nice to see you on top of the tree as well before Christmas, so we've all been there. That'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I'd love it. Well, that wraps up the podcast for the week. As always, just continue getting involved with us. We love it. We appreciate the kind words from you. We like the banter from some of you as well, but we genuinely here to listen, and we want to get involved in the conversations, so feel free to reach out to us. Thanks to all the people that do follow us continuously, you know, tuning in week in, week out. You know, we've been on some people's Spotify Wrapped this week since that's come out, and that's been, you know, nuts to see. It's been nuts. It's been a bit of a whirlwind of a year for us. This, and you know, we're only still just under a year into doing it, so we've been finding our feet for a lot of it, you know, and yeah, from where we are now to where we was a year ago, we've come a long way, but that's because of you guys. So just a massive shout out to you all. Thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and just keep following us. Anything from you?
Exactly what he said. Yeah, massive thank you to everybody, and it's so nice to see everybody with those kind words, especially, you know, everyone who follows us, but everybody who's on like in the same group as us, and you know, doing their own podcasts and bits and bobs like that, showing us support, and you know, even those guys who've, you know, offered us the advice along the way, the players who obviously are continuously in touch with us and, you know, helping us out and offering us bits and bobs, interviews, and so please don't worry. I know we had an interview in a while, but we have a couple in mind, don't we? So let us know as well who you want to see on the podcast. We're always open to that, aren't we? And we know that there's probably more players than you know who are open to it too. So let us know who you're thinking of. But a massive thank you to you guys, a massive thank you to the players, a massive thank you to all of our peers who are also in the podcast world. And just under a year old, and not doing too bad, are we, mate?
We're not. Thanks for joining. Catch you next week.
Slapshot Syndicate, pure ambition. 3 mics, 1 mission. Azza and Rossy, yeah, that's the crew. Dropping knowledge, what you gonna do?